everyone, and welcome to our postgraduate information virtual sessions. My name is Patrick Cosgrove and I'm the Student Recruitment Officer here at Mary Immaculate College. In our session this evening, we'll be looking at the Faculty of Arts programmes, and I will be joined by Professor Bill Leahy, the Dean of Arts, Rachel Godfrey, Senior Faculty Administrator and Arts Faculty Office Manager, and Dr Julianne Stack, Graduate School Director. So just some housekeeping before we start. You can see probably on your screen that this session is being recorded, so it will be available on the MIC postgraduate pages in the coming days. If you do have any questions for any of our speakers, you can use the chat function on the top of your screen. Just type in your question and I will put it to our speakers at the end of the session. So please feel free to ask a question at any stage. And if you want to have captions, you can do so by turning on live captions in your meeting options. So to get us going, I'm going to hand you over now to Professor Bill Leahy, our Dean of Arts, and he'll give you an overview of the Faculty of Arts.
Thank you very much, Patrick, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to this review, if you like, of the various programs that we have in the Faculty of Arts. I've been at MIC for about 6 months now, and I can safely say that we have some fantastic programs and fantastic departments, and we're going to have a look at some of those this evening. I'm just going to give you a general overview, and then Rachel Godfrey will give you a bit more detail about each of the programs. So what can we say about the Faculty of Arts at MIC? Well, it's a fantastic place to work and a fantastic place to study. It's well known for its teaching and its research excellence, and it provides a wide range of programs, and you'll become familiar with those during this presentation this evening. It is an intellectually rigorous program that we offer, and the degrees that we have on our books are deeply engaging. It's a first-class education that you receive, and we produce highly skilled graduates. Now that's true at undergraduate as well as postgraduate level, but graduates who are ultra competent in their specific academic disciplines. But really, we don't just prepare people through their academic discipline, we also ensure that they are ready to go into the world afterwards, or indeed further in academia. So our courses demand that you are intellectually curious. We help you become highly literate, and a defining characteristic of all our programs is that we are all socially conscious, so that we are aware of and care about what's happening both within our subject and in the world. So if we go on to the next slide, a bit more about the teaching and research excellence at MIC. Now, our faculty enjoys a very strong academic reputation both in Ireland and further afield, and no matter what course of study you choose at MIC, you will be coming into contact with both international faculty and international students. The staff are indeed highly competent and well published, with a particular dedication to teaching as a core value. Now, this is very, very significant. It's significant that our faculty are research active, that they are publishing and researching in their field, because what that means for you as a potential student is that you'll be coming into contact with and being taught by people who are at the cutting edge of their discipline. So they know the latest developments in that discipline and will be discussing those developments with you. As well as being at the cutting edge of their discipline, we also are very supportive of an interdisciplinary approach in all of our programs. And so you will be coming into contact with the latest in terms of knowledge in many disciplines, not just your own. Next slide, please, Rachel. Now, just carrying on about the range of programs that we offer. Now, Rachel will be talking you through each of these individually. We offer several taught postgraduate programs and research degrees at MA and at PhD level. And the faculty covers a wide range of disciplines, and you'll see all of our departments in a moment. And we're especially strong, naturally enough, in the humanities, in languages, and in social sciences. And our graduates are spread across the globe, which again emphasises the international nature of our faculty. And those graduates are working in a variety of different settings across the globe. Next slide, please, Rachel. And these are the programs that we offer and that Rachel will talk about more in a moment. The taught and research programs, and so do hang on, because you will get more information about the particular program that might interest you. So we have the Certificate in Christian Leadership in Education and the MA in the same. We have the MA Sa Guelga, the MA in History, in Local History, in Modern English Literature, Media Studies, and Applied Linguistics. So those are our taught programs. And we have programs across a range of disciplines: the structured PhD in Applied Linguistics, in Contemporary Irish Studies, and the MA and PhD in Arts by Research. So you can see a number of different sorts of programs there. Rachel, next slide, please. So this is my last slide. These are the postgraduate studies by research and thesis in all of our departments. So you can see we have 13 different departments there, all offering postgraduate studies by research and thesis. So whatever area of research interests you, there is a possibility to study that at MIC. Now, before I hand over to Rachel, just let me say one final thing. MIC is renowned, yes, for its research and for its teaching, but also for its, if you like, personal interaction. Small is beautiful at MIC. If you come to our programs, you will have that personal care that our tutors can provide. You'll get to know our tutors, you'll get to know your fellow students. So we look forward to seeing you at MIC in future. Rachel, over to you.
Thanks very much, Bill. As Bill has indicated, the list of subjects that you see on the screen at the moment, those are the subjects in which we offer research programs at both master's and PhD level. And my colleague Julianne will take you through the process for applicants who wish to take an MA or PhD degree by research later in tonight's presentation. I'm going to concentrate on the taught programs offered in the Faculty of Arts, and we're going to kick off with the first on my list, which is the Certificate in Christian Leadership in Education. And you'll see in just a moment that we also offer an MA, a Master's in Christian Leadership in Education. And the Certificate in Christian Leadership in Education is designed to augment other qualifications that students would have. So it's designed to add to your existing qualifications in the areas of leadership and management. It is particularly suited to those who are working in the primary or secondary school settings and who have ambitions or would aspire to management roles within those settings, particularly in faith-based schools. So that's what the certificate is all about. And it will introduce students to some key principles that underpin the characteristic ethos of faith-based education in Ireland. The way the program, the certificate is assessed is through a variety of different methods. Those will include things like essays, reflections, online discussion forums, where you'll have an opportunity to discuss topical issues with not only those teaching on the program, but with your fellow students. It's a very good program for allowing personal development and reflection in your own setting, your own workplace. So it's a very practical program in that regard, in that what you are learning, you should be able to apply directly to your working environment. If we go on now to the Masters in Christian Leadership and Education. So the MA in Christian Leadership is a full master's program. It is designed also for those working in education settings. It usually would be attractive to people who are in acting as principals, deputy principals, or aspire to roles such as those, so leadership management roles, particularly those working with boards of management or educational trust bodies related to faith-based organisations. So this master's programme, again, it builds on key issues in faith-based education settings in Ireland, and also develops students' leadership and management skills within that whole ethos setting. This particular programme has 10 full scholarships available for the coming year, and those scholarships are sponsored by the Presentation Sisters. So that's pretty, it's a pretty attractive element to this particular programme, in that you can apply for a full scholarship. For both the Certificate in Christian Leadership in Education and the Masters, the contact person for it is the head of our Theology and Religious Studies department, and that is Professor Eamon Conway. So if you have particular questions, or you're interested in either the certificate or the MA programme, please do get in touch with Eamon. You'll see his contact details at the bottom of the screen there, and he'd be more than happy to answer any specific questions that you may have about either of these programmes. So moving along to the MA sa Gaeilge. So Uireann na Gaeilge offer an MA Múnta agus MA PhD Taida. So you can do both a Thought MA and MA or PhD by research and thesis with the Department of Gaeilge at Mary Immaculate College. The Department of Gaeilge is has a very broad expertise basis in the department, and colleagues are very well researched and published. The MA Múnta ó Afra nó Faoi Láthair. So it's currently being reviewed, and it is intended that the programme will be delivered in either a blended or Erlina, an online format in the future. Anyone who is interested in the MA sa Gaeilge is welcome to contact our Ceann Rinne Gníomhach, our acting head of department, Dr. Roisin Garvey, and you'll see her contact details are given there at the bottom of the screen. The MA programme is a full-time programme of 1 year, but is also possible to take it on a part-time basis. Assessment modes would be varied and can include a Maointeachtas or a dissertation. To apply for the MA sa Gaeilge, and in fact all of the MA programmes in Mary Immaculate College, the typical entry requirements would be an honours degree. You will get all of the specific entrance requirements for the master's programmes, the Thought Masters, on our website, and at the end of my presentation I'll show you exactly where to find that information. We're going to move on now to two Thought Masters offered by the Department of History at Mary Immaculate College. The first is our MA in History, which is offered solely by the Department of History at MIC. This again is a full-time Masters of 1 year, but is available over 2 years as a part-time programme. Again, the entrance requirement is an honours degree, and the assessment methods for the programme are, they use a variety of assessment methods, from essays and presentations on a continuous assessment basis, and of course a dissertation. So key aspects of the MA in History at MIC is the opportunity for students to develop their own abilities, and we offer a mix of modules on this programme which allow for students to examine and to do further study in the areas of Irish history that particularly interest them. So it's quite an interesting programme in that it allows students a certain amount of choice in the research aspects of it. It's also a very good starting point for those who wish to continue to consider further study at possibly a PhD level in the field of history. Further information on this particular programme is available from either of the joint coordinators, and they are Brian Hughes and Dr. Richard McMahon. So Dr. Hughes and Dr. McMahon are both available to answer any questions you may have. And again, you'll see their contact information, their email addresses are given at the bottom of the screen. They would be more than happy to answer any specific queries that you may have about the MA in History, its content, or any other queries that you may have. The next programme we're going to look at is the MA in Local History. Now, this MA is also offered by the Department of History in MIC, but it's done in conjunction with colleagues in the University of Limerick. So we work with our colleagues in the Department of History in UL to deliver this programme. So this programme is particularly interesting to people who have an interest in their own local history. It's exactly as it's described. People can go on, graduates of the MA in Local History can go on to do further study or take up a career in history, but often participants undertake the MA in Local History for their own personal interest and curiosity. And we always get very good feedback from graduates of the MA in Local History about the how enjoyable the programme is and how interesting it is because of its that very local nature that they can relate to their own place. So it is a part-time programme. It's offered over 2 years, and our next intake is in 2022. So if you are interested in the MA in Local History, you can contact our Head of History Department here at MIC. His name is Dr. Liam Chambers, and his email address is given there at the bottom of the screen. Moving on now to our MA in Modern English Literature, and the MA in Modern English Literature is offered entirely online. So it's, again, the entrance requirements for this programme are an honours degree, not necessarily in English, but preferably in a cognitive field. Again, you'll get the relevant discipline. You'll get the specific entrance requirements on the website. A lot of graduates from the MA in Modern English Literature would go on to further study. And the career opportunities following this programme are varied. So you can go, graduates have been known to go into teaching, marketing, careers in the media. So there are a variety of different opportunities that this programme can lead to. Again, it is a full-time programme over 1 year, and also offers the opportunity to do it over 2 years as a part-time programme. For further information on this programme, you can contact our head of the English Language and Literature Department. That is Dr. Eugene O'Brien, and his email address is given there. So he will be more than happy to help you with any queries that you may have. Moving on to our MA in Media Studies, again, a very popular postgraduate programme. The MA in Media Studies is open to both those who have done an undergraduate degree in a media-related, in a relevant discipline, and also to those who are working in the industry. So those working in the media industry would make up some of our cohort of master students on this programme. The programme is varied, so it comprises both theoretical and practical elements. So it combines both of those elements and offers, because of that, is very interesting to students, because not only do they get to explore the theory, but they also get to put it into practice. So students take 6 modules over the course of this master's programme, and part of the assessment will be a dissertation and a film script. And that's particularly interesting to those who wish to go in to that area of film or creating content for TV or for the big screen. This programme is again offered as both a full-time 1 year programme and a part-time programme over 2 years. And this programme also offers the option of exiting with a graduate diploma in media studies. For those interested in the MA in Media Studies, the course director is our head of the Media and Communication Studies Department, and that is Dr. Rosemary Day. And she is more than happy to answer any queries that you may have, even if you just wanted to have a chat with her about what the programme might entail. Her email address is given at the bottom of the screen, and I would encourage you to contact Rosemary if you have any queries. So moving on now to our MA in Applied Linguistics. This MA and the next program, which is the structured PhD in Applied Linguistics, both sit within the Department of English Language and Literature. And while they are particularly popular with language teachers, teachers of English, it's not always language teachers that take this program. Other language professionals, those working in language fields, also would find this program beneficial. So this program is designed to give a broad education on the theories of such as in applied linguistics and social linguistics, such as second language acquisition and the analysis of language in context. So we have students on this program from a variety of different backgrounds. It is currently offered fully online, and assessment for the program is by continuous assessment and dissertation. The full-time program takes between 12 and 16 months and part-time between 2 and 3 years. We have 2 intake periods for this program, so both in January and September. And the course leader is Dr. Joan O'Sullivan, and you'll see her contact details there. Joan would be more than happy to answer any queries you may have. She is also the course director for our structured PhD in Applied Linguistics. And often graduates of the MA in Applied Linguistics continue on to complete the structured PhD in Applied Linguistics, but it's not necessary. You can do the MA in Applied Linguistics and finish at that. It's not, you don't have to go on to do the structured PhD. The structured PhD is a 4-year full-time program. And again, it is most popular with those who are working in the language field, particularly language teachers. So our next structured PhD is in Contemporary Irish Studies. And this program is one of our interdisciplinary programs. The course director for this is Dr. Eugene O'Brien, the head of the English Language and Literature department, and he is, of course, happy to answer any questions that you might have. It is a 4-year degree and it is offered online. It's also available in a research thesis format, and more information on that is available from Dr. O'Brien. So this program looks at contemporary Irish studies, so issues in Irish politics, culture, society, and on completion of the program, graduates should have a real understanding of the multi-faceted aspects of the Ireland of today. The lecturers teaching on the programme are all experts in their field and have very good track records in terms of research and publications, which then feeds into what the content they teach on the programme. So you really are getting a cutting edge education on this structured PhD programme. So that's just a brief overview of the programs that we offered and a brief synopsis of what they entail. For further details, for more specific questions on the content, I would advise you to contact the course director. All the details were on the slides and are also on our college website. So the way you find out about these programs on our website, there are a couple of different ways, and I'm just going to show you visually how you would do that. So when you go to the college website, there's a number of different ways to access the information. You can access it via our Faculty of Arts page, through the Research and Graduate School page, or through our Study at MIC. You'll see there on the slide on the navy banner that's going across the web page, you'll see the very first option is Study at MIC. And if you select that, it will bring you into an area where you can select postgraduate programs. You'll see it there. I have the drop-down menu on the next screen. And when you click into that postgraduate area, it will show you, it will list all of the programs that we offer in the college, and you can simply click into the program that you're interested in and get all the information that you need there. You can also access it through our Faculty of Arts page. So again, on the blue banner, you see faculties and schools. Click on that and then select Faculty of Arts, and you'll come to this faculty page, and you'll see that our postgraduate programs have a link there. Click on that link and it'll bring you in and show you all of the programs available in the Faculty of Arts. Within each program, we give you information on the content, the key aspects of the program, who the course director is, where you get further information, the entrance requirements, and all that information, useful information that you need before you decide which program you would like to go to and how you go about applying. So I've just taken a snapshot here of the web page that we have for one of our programs. It just happens to be the MA in History, and you'll see that we offer you program overview, information on program content, all of the relevant information that you need, including how to apply, is there on the website. And we also have an ask a question option on the website where you can literally type in the question that you might have, and someone will come back to you with the answer to your query. So it's pretty easy and usually very quick way of getting the information that you need about a particular program. So before I go and hand over to my colleague Julianne, who's going to talk to you about research programs and opportunities in the faculty, I just want to put up this contact information slide, so just for a moment, so that you can see all of the different contact addresses where you can ask questions and get information about postgraduate programs and the admission process and any other queries that you may have. So there are a variety of different offices that you can contact. Admissions office in terms of applications for taught programs, the arts office is the faculty office that deals with all aspects of programs in the faculty. So we of course will be happy to answer any questions you have, and of course the RGSO, which is the Research and Graduate School. So I'm just going to leave that up for just 1 second, and just to remind you again about the Pubble function on the website, which is the ask a question function that I mentioned just a moment ago. It's a really quick and easy way for you to ask questions and get answers almost immediately back on the program that you are interested in. I'm going to leave you now, and I'm going to hand back to my colleague, Julianne Stack from the Research and Graduate School, and she's going to talk to you now about research opportunities within the faculty.
Thanks for that, Rachel. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our information session this afternoon, or this evening, rather. So I'm going to talk about the postgraduate research degrees in the arts faculty at Mary Immaculate College. So Rachel has given a really comprehensive overview on the taught programs. And so sometimes students are a little bit confused as to the different types of postgraduate research degrees. So there's three main types of postgraduate study here at MIC. So the first one is taught postgraduate programs, such as Rachel has just described, and they usually take around 12 months of intensive full-time study, and the part-time options usually take 2 years of study. The research programs are more subject intensive than taught courses, and with a much greater degree of independence academically. And the two types of research programs that we offer here at MIC are the Research Masters, MA, or a PhD, a Doctor of Philosophy. We also have professional postgraduate programs at MIC, but they facilitate entrance into a particular profession, and they're housed within the Faculty of Education at MIC. These programs are recognised by official bodies within profession, and they include the Professional Doctorate in Educational and Child Psychology, which is accredited by the Psychological Society of Ireland, and also the Professional Masters of Education, PME, which is accredited by the Teaching Council. For here, the postgraduate studies by research and thesis, essentially you can do a research degree in any of these faculties, and we have students who are undertaking PhDs or research masters in all of these departments at the moment. And there, as Rachel talked about the structured PhD in Applied Linguistics and the structured PhD in Contemporary Irish Studies, these are research programs with taught components, and I will describe to you how you apply for research degrees in a couple of minutes, and the same application process applies to here. As Rachel said, all information on how to apply is on the MIC website, and it can be accessed in a number of ways, either via the main website, the faculty pages, the Research and Graduate School. So I would encourage you to really just explore the website. There's a huge amount of information on there and a lot of different ways to get to the information that you want. So for a research degree, there's a number of steps. So the first steps really is to identify a research topic or an area that you'd like to research. And this could be, just for example, in English language and literature, there could be a particular author that you want to research or examine a very pertinent question on that. In history, it could be a particular time area, it could be a historical figure, it could be just a very defined period of time in that historical figure's life. Really, the scope is endless. The main thing is that your research degree, it can't have been done before. Your research, it needs to be new. So you need to identify a question or a problem that you'd seek to address in your thesis. And it could be that you might address something that's been overlooked or misunderstood, or you may want to apply a new reading or interpretation to challenge or extend received readings or understandings. Really, the sky is the limit here. What limits then for undertaking a research degree in MIC is that there needs to be a supervisor with the appropriate expertise in that research topic that you're looking for. So, for example, we don't have a tourism studies department, so you wouldn't be able to undertake a research degree in tourism. But in any of the other faculties or any of the other departments in the faculty, such as drama, English language and literature, etc., there's a huge variety of research expertise available amongst our really top quality members of faculty. So when you have an idea of what you'd like to research, you should, in the first instance, contact a member of the academic staff in the relevant department. You can explore the research interests of faculty members on the department's web pages. And if you're unsure as to which member of faculty's research interests align with your own topic, you can contact the head of department or you can contact the Research and Graduate School. But really, the research degree application can't proceed until you have identified a potential supervisor for your thesis. So the next step then is to prepare what's called a thesis proposal. Now, for a master's degree, you're talking of a body of work of up to 3,000 words. For a PhD, you're talking between 3,000 and 4,000 words. And this piece of academic writing essentially includes a working title. Now, you're not bound to this until the day you graduate. That is, it can change as you wish until you submit for examination. And just choose something that really identifies exactly what it is that you're going to be looking at. I would advise that you split up your proposal into the following structure, that you'd have the aims and objectives, such as maybe preliminary research questions, your motivation. It may be that this is a particular topic that speaks very strongly to you for personal reasons, and you can write about that. Your methodology. Before you apply for your research degree, you need to have an idea about how you will undertake your research degree, as in like what books will you use, how will you investigate it? If it is a geography PhD, for example, how are you going to conduct your field work? And you also then need to have a substantive outline of the project. The originality, the relevance, your projected outcomes of the project. Obviously, research is slightly unpredictable, so the outcomes, you may not be able to say exactly what you're going to find, but you can describe why that findings might be important. You must also discuss if there's any ethical implications of your research. This may or may not be applicable to your research plan. But this, if you have any human participants in your research whatsoever, there will be ethical concerns that you'll need to think about, and also a relevant bibliography. So that's really our suggestions on how to construct and design your thesis proposal. And you would do this in consultation as well with your proposed supervisor. They won't write it for you and they won't help you start from scratch, but they might be able to guide you along the way. The application package then that would be sent to the Research and Graduate School Office, which is rgso@mic.ul.ie. This includes your thesis proposal, 2 academic letters of reference. So this is not a letter of reference for a job. So if you've had a part-time job or, you know, any other role in that way, they can't testify to your academic potential and ability. So we will be looking here at someone that you might have worked with in an academic context. If you have done a master's or an undergraduate degree, it might have been a lecturer that you know reasonably well, or perhaps someone who supervised your minor dissertation. Your academic transcripts, a CV. There's a €50 application fee, and that can be paid online via the link there. And also you need to fill out the application form for research programs. And this needs to be signed by both yourself, the potential student, your proposed supervisor, and the head of department. And the next steps then is once the Research and Graduate School receive this application, it gets considered by what's called the Postgraduate Research Subcommittee, and they will determine the outcome of the application. Occasionally they need a little bit more information on a particular area and they might feedback, but usually you'll get a yes or no pretty soon after their regular meetings. The Research and Graduate School will send a formal letter of offer to successful applicants and invite you to register with the college. Eligibility and fees. So eligibility, usually a relevant undergraduate degree, so or professional experience might compensate for that. But if you wanted to do a PhD in English language or English literature, it would be expected that you would have a bachelor's degree that includes quite a significant amount of that specialist topic. An upper second class degree would be the usual standard of students entering, but this can be navigated by the grad dip master's route. So if you have a 2.2 or less, I would advise that you would investigate a taught program initially, such as a grad dip or a master's, to essentially oomph up your qualifications before proceeding to try and do a PhD. The cost of a year of full-time study of a research degree is €4,400 and upwards, and it depends on the course and student nationality. So some courses are more expensive than others. So in Mary Immaculate College, we really want to support our postgraduate students as well as best we can. And so we have certain designated facilities for postgraduate students on the John Henry Newman campus, which is just across the road from the main MIC campus. So we have designated individual study spaces for research postgraduate students if they choose to take one up. A lot of time people, if they're distance based or international students, they would work from their own home place. But we also have a large computer and study room for taught postgraduate students, which people can use on a first come, first served basis without having to book or reserve in any way. We also facilitate academic progression of our research postgraduate students. There is regular research skills training. And what I mean by this is approximately every week during the academic semester, we have skills seminars, we call them, on various topics such as they can be related to academic matters on how to submit your thesis for examination, preparing for your viva voce examination, preparing for progression. But then we also have more concrete research skills such as preparing for conference presentations, how to get published in academic journals. In the Academic Learning Centre, we have a designated support person for postgraduate writing who is available for consultation, and that person will also be delivering focused workshops on academic writing and literature review and, you know, Write on Wednesday type sessions. In addition, we provide mentorship for funding applications in the Research and Graduate School, such as for the Irish Research Council or Fulbright Awards. And if this is something that you are interested in, the application window for both those schemes is in September and October of each year, but I would really strongly advise that you start thinking about those applications probably in the springtime. So if this is something that you're interested in, then please just drop me a line and we can arrange to have a chat on it. At Mary Immaculate College, we appreciate that undertaking research degrees can be a significant financial undertaking for students. So we have a plethora of financial supports for research students, and these include postgraduate scholarships, conference travel funds, and that's only for research postgraduates. There are fee reductions for first class honours degrees from Mary Immaculate College, not external applicants. And also we have postgraduate merit awards and departmental assistantships. The scholarships, funding and fees information is all available on the website. And in addition, so you can see here, so we have a doctoral, so these are our main MIC funding awards. And in addition, we have these a variety of individual awards that come up on an irregular basis. There is also information on grant aid, which is via Susie on the website, so you can link to that. The eligibility to this can depend on your nationality and your residency. The course, it has to be progressing in your education, so they wouldn't fund a person doing a second master's degree, for an example. You must be attending an approved institution. Your income is taken into account, and also the maximum period of grant assistance. It's usually 4 years funding in total at postgraduate level, taking into account all previous courses. The information on the 2022 MIC scholarships, funding and fees is going to be released to the public next week, so please refer back to this website at that time. So I'd like to thank you for your attention, and I'm going to hand back to my colleague now and stop sharing my screen.
Thanks very much, Julianne, and thanks to Bill and also to Rachel as well, all of our speakers, for I suppose a very comprehensive overview there of the Faculty of Arts and all the various programs available at both taught and research level. So for any of our attendees this evening, if you do have any questions, please feel free to use the chat function. You can type it in there and I will put them to our presenters. But in the meantime, we have a few questions for our presenters already. So we might just maybe start off with you, Julianne. We have a first question here, and I suppose it's just to do with the whole area of the research, or your supervisor. How, I suppose, or what advice could you give to someone who's trying to identify their research supervisor?
Okay, well, I suppose first off, they need to have a very clear idea of what it is they themselves want to research. And so then that kind of narrows the focus. They'll know if they want to do history, they'll know if they want to do English. On the departmental website page, they'll see a list of faculty. And usually in those faculty profiles, they'll have a description of their research interests. So it does require the student to do a little bit of legwork here. So there will be a brief description of the supervisor's research interests, but a quick search on Google Scholar will also identify that potential supervisor's research outputs, their papers, their conference presentations, and it will be a good idea to have a read through some of them and see if it aligns with your research topic. If it's completely way out, it probably wouldn't be the best match. If it's in some way aligned, it might be worthwhile sending them a contact and saying, and it will be a good idea to have an idea of exactly what it is you're going to research before contacting the supervisor. Not really highly refined, but a general idea, and say, this is what I'm interested in looking at. This is aligned with your research interests. And our members of faculty are really very engaged and friendly and keen to discuss research.
Thanks, Julianne. Next question, and I'll put it to you, Rachel. It's to do, I suppose, our offerings in Christian leadership and education, the certificate RDMA. So I suppose first question is it really only for primary school teachers, or would secondary school teachers find this program beneficial? And second question then, is it on a part-time basis?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. It can be both the certificate and the Masters in Christian Leadership and in Education are suitable for both primary and post-primary settings. So if you're working in primary or a secondary school, it's equally beneficial to you. It really is. Both programs center around leadership and management roles within faith-based schools or educational settings. That's really what it's focused on. So there are components that are directly linked to leadership and management, and would be quite similar to content that you would get on leadership and management programs. But it is different in that it is designed to fit within the whole ethos of faith-based settings, so that, which is a very particular type of setting, and the programs are designed to, particularly for those who are in positions of authority or who would like to progress their career by going on to a deputy principal or a principal, you know, something like that in a school. So those are the kind of applicants that we get. They're not always already in those positions of responsibility. Some are younger educators, but they have aspirations towards that career progression. The certificate is offered part-time over, usually at weekends, so it's usually over a course of 5 to 6 Saturdays. So that's how the certificate is offered on it's a part-time basis. The Masters in Christian Leadership and Education, it usually runs over 2 academic years. It's a slightly different format to the typical Masters in that it is part-time mode, usually at weekends, and they tend to have it over 3 semesters, and that's usually over 18 months. It sits kind of slightly outside the traditional academic year because of the nature of the program and the people who are teaching on it. So it would take up to 2 years part-time, and it's usually at weekends, possibly Friday evenings as well, for the Masters in Christian Leadership.
Thanks, Rachel. Thanks for clarifying that. Next one then I'll just put to you, Bill. I suppose it's a general question, and I suppose really what I want to ask you is, what sets MIC apart from other colleges, Bill?
Okay, thanks a lot for that, Patrick. It's a good question as well. I think I touched on it slightly when I was talking at the beginning. And you have to remember, I'm relatively new to MIC, but what struck me immediately was really, first of all, it's quite a small college compared to other places. And the number of PhDs we are graduating and the number of students that we've got on master's programs is extraordinary, I have to say, for the size of the college. So that's the first thing to say, that there's a lot of experience from the faculty in supervising and teaching postgraduate students. The second thing to say, I think, is it's again to do with that size, that what is quite clear at undergraduate and postgraduate level is that there's a kind of personal aspect to the teaching and the supervision at MIC, and this really does set it apart. I've come from an institution in London that has about 16,000 students, and it can be impersonal. It simply can be, just from the sheer size. And you often have colleagues there who have 300 students on a master's program. There's no way you're going to have any kind of personal care there. You know, you have to, don't get me wrong, I mean, the experience is still good, but it's different, and there are structures in place to deal with that sort of mass education. At MIC, it's quite different. The structures are in place for that kind of personal care. And so what I often found as a complaint, if you like, in my former institution, is that, you know, a student might say, the person I came to that university to be taught by and to be supervised by, I almost never see, I almost never hear from them. That will not be the case in MIC. The person that you have identified as your supervisor, the person that you are interested in that master's program, in teaching you, you will be taught by, you will be supervised by, you will have personal interactions with them. And I think that's a really great plus, because you develop a professional relationship with that person, and yeah, dare I say, you gain so much knowledge and so much life experience from that individual that you have identified. You are interested in what they are doing in their research, and you will gain so much from them. So it's that aspect that that strikes me immediately. The second thing to say as well is the facilities are great. What Julianne has just been talking about, and this may be the reason why MIC does produce so many great postgraduate graduates, is the facilities are fantastic. They are really, MIC has really decided to push the boat out on postgraduate study here, both at MA and at PhD level. So the facilities are really excellent.
Yeah, that's some great points there, Bill. I think students really do get to know their lecturers and get to know their tutors. So that's a kind of something that definitely sets MIC apart. Next question is for you, Julianne. And I suppose in your presentation, you mentioned maybe a number of terms that students mightn't be that familiar with. One was your viva, or your that whole area of assessment, and you might just elaborate a little bit on that, Julianne, and just maybe how you're assessed at PhD level. I think you're on mute, Julianne.
Oh, I apologize. After being online for so long, you'd think it would be just automatic at this stage. So that's an excellent question. And because a research degree is by its very nature quite a unique degree, it's not something that can be assessed by a standard end of term paper, for example, because everyone's going to be studying something completely different. So that's just not how it works. So the way our research students are assessed, so both research MA students and research PhD students, every year they have what's called an annual progression panel. And that's where the students meet with their supervisor, they meet with a head of department, and they meet with one or two independent, what we call panel members. And they basically assess the progress that the student has made according to their own individual research plans over the course of the last year. And the students then are kind of deemed acceptable to proceed into the next year or not. But it's not a kind of very cut or dried not. They get a second chance to kind of prove that they have made progress, or to kind of show how they have made progress, because it may be that they have made progress but just didn't show it satisfactorily. At the end of their research degree, they're assessed in two slightly different ways. So a research MA student is assessed by means of a thesis, a research thesis alone. It's assessed by two examiners, and they deem it either worthy of being awarded a research MA or not. It may be that they deem it worthy, but there are some corrections that are required, and there might be a little bit of back and forth. A PhD student then is assessed both by means of preparation of a thesis, and the word count for that thesis is a maximum of 100,000. Now that is a limit, not a target. Your examiners will thank you if you don't quite reach that word count, and also by what's called a viva voce examination. And this is essentially an oral examination on your thesis. Not necessarily just how well you know your thesis, but on the whole wider area of the discipline in which it sits in. And you'd be expected to be able to speak to why you made the research decisions that you made, why you chose the methods, and you need to be very clearly be able to define your what's called contribution to knowledge, as in what's new and novel about your research. So they would be the assessment means of research degrees, and that's pretty standard across the way. That's not unique to MIC. Any research degree in Ireland would be assessed in that way.
Thanks, Julianne. Yeah, that I think hopefully clarifies things for people. Rachel, I'll put the next one to you then. It's just to do with the MA sa Gaeilge. I suppose the thing we want to know is, do you need a high standard of Irish to successfully apply for the programme? And do you have to go to the Gaeltacht then as part of the programme?
Okay, so for most master's programme, and the MA sa Gaeilge is no different, applicants should have an honours degree. So usually in a relevant discipline. So in this case, in the MA sa Gaeilge case, ideally students would have an honours degree in a degree that would contain Irish as one of their main components. So it could be like a joint honours degree in Irish and something else, or a single honours Gaeilge degree. There isn't a Gaeltacht component to it. It's not a mandatory component of it. However, of course, students are encouraged to spend time in fully immersed in an Irish language setting, because obviously it will help them. So to answer the question, it's kind of like a bit like how long is a piece of string, or what's a good standard of Irish? Yes, you would, because you wouldn't have gotten an honours undergraduate degree in Irish, or joint degree with Irish without having a good standard of Irish. And in terms of successfully completing the programme and, more importantly, enjoying the programme, that standard of Irish will absolutely stand to you.
Okay, that's great. Thanks, Rachel.
Just to say as well that anybody, sorry, Patrick, for cutting across you, anybody who has any doubts or maybe uncertainties about whether they would be able for an MA Gaeilge or about their level of language, they should absolutely drop an email to a quick reef post to Roisin Garvey. She's really, like all the faculty, they're very open, they're very encouraging, and they'll be very honest with people if they want to put their queries to them. They'll have a chat with them and they can put their minds at rest one way or the other before they make their application.
Okay, and just while you're there, Rachel, I just might put this one to you. It's from Silky Johnston. It's just come in. They're a third-year undergrad. They're not obviously applying this year, but they're wondering what time of the year is the submission window, or when does it open or close for the MA in history normally?
Okay, that's a good question. So Silky has plenty of time, yes. Usually the application window is in the spring semester, so usually towards the second half of the spring semester. So round about now, fourth years they may have already applied for some postgraduate programs. So it's usually in your fourth year that you're putting together, you're deciding which programs you're going to go for. Certain programs would have earlier application deadlines before Christmas, and then for our own, then it's usually in the spring semester that you would apply with your proposal. So just to note as well that the MA History program is currently it's going through currently at the minute to approval to become an online program. So it's going to be the intention that from the next academic year, it'll be running as an online taught masters.
Okay, that's good to know. And Silky Johnson, she also has a follow-up question that I might maybe put to you, Julianne. She just wanted the same question as well, I suppose, but it's for the PhD in history, the submission window, or what time of the year can you apply for that?
Well, that's a great question, actually. I should have covered that in my talk. Apologies. So we accept applications for research degrees throughout the year. We have two normal start dates, so either September of the academic year or January of the academic year. So you can start in semester 1 or semester 2. When you send in your application, whenever that is, the PRSE meet approximately every month. So if you were wanting to start in September, I would really advise that the latest you would be applying would be July, because taking into account people's holiday time and leave, this gives plenty of time for it to be seen. And if there's any issues, you can review that and get well set up for a September start. Similarly, if you wanted to start in January, I would advise that your application was in with us in November. But definitely drop us a line a little bit before that, and we can make sure you're on the right track. But yes, as I said, we take applications throughout the year for the PhDs in history. The only ones where there might be a tighter application deadline would be for the structured PhD programs, because they have taught elements, so they need to have an idea of numbers and cohorts before the official start date of the semester.
Thanks, Julianne. That's good advice there. And I suppose for any of our programs, you can always keep an eye on our website on the program pages. There'll always be up-to-date information there as well. Time is running against us, so I might just put a final question to you, Bill. I suppose a general question, really. I suppose, what are the key skills people who do a postgraduate program in the Faculty of Arts, what are the key skills that they acquire? And I suppose, how does it help them going forward then in terms of getting jobs after they have graduated?
That's a good question as well, Pat. So the skills that they acquire, I suppose in many ways, they're quite skilled anyway. When they come to do a master's or a PhD, these are people who have already acquired certain skills. And in the arts, generally, those skills, they tend to be things such as, the ability to think critically, to problem solve, to identify problems and solve them, to work well in teams, to, as I say, always be looking for those solutions to the problems that arise. Now, some of those are quite difficult to formalize in a way. You know, they become very much just part of what are, you know, usually called transferable skills. And you know, generally in the past, I'm going back quite a couple of decades now, the skills would be seen as ideal for people who wanted to carry on in academia. That's all changed. Of course, we developed those skills, but the sorts of skills that people get are transferable to outside of academia, so to the work environment, whatever that work environment may be. Now, arts graduates tend to have the sorts of skills that are now very much required in, you know, industries like the tech industry, for example, where actually my own son works for Google. Now, my son did an English literature degree, and he's now, I forget his job title, it's something like head of artificial intelligence for 3 continents for Google. Now, he's not, all he does is talk. That's the skills that he's learned, is doing all the relationship forming stuff, bringing people together, working with his team, many of whom are technical people, but bringing it all together because he's developed those skills that art students tend to have. You know, articulate, confident, presentation skills, authenticity, all of those sorts of things. So I don't like to, when I talk about the sorts of skills that arts students and PhD students in arts get, I don't like to talk about vocational stuff, although we do have a few vocationally directed courses. We have these much broader, much more modern skills, if I can call them that, that will serve people well no matter where they decide to go afterwards.
Okay, I think a great answer, Bill, there. Yeah, you really kind of showed, I suppose, the range of skills that you can acquire by doing a postgraduate program in the Faculty of Arts at MIC.